Alrighty, here we are with another Baldi's Basics Plus video. My name's NormalRabbit12, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the new status update that the developer posted for version 0.8. The first thing I want to say about it is something that's rather important, and that is 0.8 has been delayed until early December this year. And that's because while the update does include some rather interesting changes, as I've read for the status update post, it doesn't really include as much as the previous updates in terms of like gameplay changing mechanics. And not only that, but the developer is also working on some other stuff that he wants to finish for before 0.8 releases. So he's delaying the update until late December for that. And another thing is he's going to be taking December off from developing the game. Namely so he can enjoy the holidays and just kind of take a break from developing Baldi's Basics. Once December ends, he's going to go back to developing Baldi's Basics and working out, trying to fix some bugs, which will be what 0.9 will be about, just some bug fixes, and 0.9 will release in early February, I believe. So yeah, 0.8 has been delayed by a month, and 0.9 is also going to take, well, the developer is going to take 1 month off from developing the game, and then 2 months to work out the bugs for 0.9. And one last thing I want to mention before I jump into talking about what to expect from 0.8 is a little bit of confusion that the developer has noticed regarding game versions, and that is regarding whether or not 0.9 will be the last minor update. Currently, the developer does not know what the last the last major update before the full release will be, but he knows it will not be version 0.9. Because after 0.9 there's going to be 0.10, 0.11, so on and so forth, until we reach version 1, which will be maybe like a year or two from now. I don't know what those other things may be, but there is definitely more, there's definitely going to be more content coming to Baldi's Basics in the future after 0.9. But with that out of the way, let's get into the content that you can expect to see in 0.8. The first thing that you can expect is a new option for adjusting your playstyle with the game. This one's pretty simple, but it's going to be a very welcomed addition to the community. It allows you to change how lives work in the game for a either harder or easier experience. Currently there are 3 options. The first one is a normal playstyle where you start each level with 3 lives, which is the way that the game has worked since it has released. The second style is arcade style, where you start with 3 power tubes, but you can't get any more after that. So it's a little bit harder in a way, because you start with 3 power tubes, but you can't regain power tubes after you beat a level. And then there's a third harder playstyle called strict, where you get 1 life. If you lose, it's game over, and it's only 1 life. You can't get any more after beating the level. These options basically allow you to choose how difficult you want the game to be, without affecting the game too drastically. So normal would be the easiest mode, which is the mode we have right now, and strict obviously is going to be the hardest one because it only gives you 1 power tube, 1 life, and if you lose it, you lose the entire game. And arcade is right in the middle for if you want to start off with all 3 power tubes, lives, but don't fancy having to restart from the beginning. Also, one important thing to note is that this will not impact the power bonus. The power bonus is based on the number of attempts it takes to beat a level. So on the arcade setting, for example, if you go into a level with 1 power tube, 1 life, and beat it on your first try, you can still get the 3 times power bonus. So no need to worry about losing YTPs from changing the playstyle that you have. Now on to a much bigger feature that will be coming on to 0.8. And there's a little bit of a backstory on this. A little bit ago, I don't know how long ago it was, but the developer had asked on Twitter what everyone's average times were per level. And he wanted to know this to help balance a bit of a mystery feature that he's been working on. And that feature is time limits. In 0.8, you'll want to make sure you don't spend too much time in a level, because school is only going to be in session for so long. And in the screenshot that I have here, we see there is a timer next to the elevator, and that time says, I believe it says 7 minutes 27 seconds. This might be for floor 2, or it could be for floor, I think it may be for floor 2 actually. Or it's floor 3, who knows. I do know floor 3 can take a pretty long time, as well as floor 2. So it could be for every one of those floors. Once the game begins, you'll be able to see how much time you have left by looking at the timer near the elevators. And the time will also be viewable, as planned by the developer, via the map as well. So you can easily open up your map and check how much time you have remaining, without having to go to an elevator to see it. As the clock ticks down, the TV that appears in the top left will occasionally notify you of how much time is remaining as well. And once the clock hits 0, school is out, and things will start changing, to make the game a bit harder. First of these changes is Baldi will begin speeding up over time. The longer you stick around, the harder it will become to avoid getting caught by him. The principal will also send you to detention for being in school after hours. Even after getting sent to detention for this reason, you will still remain guilty in his eyes, so be sure he doesn't see you again. The environment is also another thing that will change when the timer runs out. Currently there's only one way that the environment changes, and that is the lights in the hallway will start dimming, and the principal will turn out the lights of rooms as he exits them. Things are going to get dark very quickly, but you can take advantage of the darkness if you want to survive, which you will need to survive because Baldi, again, will be getting faster and faster the longer you stay in school as school is out. Now, while it will be difficult to see in the dark, it will also be difficult for the NPCs, like Baldi, to see in the dark as well. And that's because there's going to be a new mechanic that allows you to hide in dark areas. Basically, if you're standing on a tile that is as dark as possible, you will become hidden, and NPCs, for example Baldi, will not be able to see you. Hiding in dark spaces is going to be very crucial for surviving and finishing the game during the lights out area as Baldi begins reaching like, you know, Mach 5. In the future there will be more content that utilizes lighting, but for now this is all the developer has implemented. And to accommodate for the lights being out, the developer is also reworking the lighting system to make super dark areas a bit easier to see in. So there's going to be a much more noticeable contrast when objects are in dark areas. The minimum brightness is also now limited, so not everything becomes pitch black. So you'll still be able to see, but it will be quite difficult. And don't worry, the lights out, I guess event, we'll be calling it, is going to be adjusted so that it's not too difficult. So basically, adjusting the light so it's not too dark to see when all the lights go out, and also still giving enough time to thoroughly explore levels, but also making sure that not too much time is wasted. One last thing that's going to be added in 0.8 is, well, not so much an addition, but a slight change, and that's with the level generator. One thing that's going to be changing with the level generator is the elimination of dead ends and bottlenecks in the generation of hallways. Now, in previous versions of the game, notably before 0.4 when the map generator was changed up, dead ends and bottlenecks were not so much a problem, because back then we didn't have custom-made rooms and hallways. But with how the generator is now, it is more common for them to appear and kind of screw up the game. And in case you don't know what a bottleneck area is, it's basically a section of a map that can only be accessed by one single hallway. which can lead to some not so good situations. So yeah, the developer is going to be fixing up this problem with the level generator to make it so that both dead ends and bottleneck areas are going to be less common in the level generating process. Bottlenecks and dead ends are going to appear later on in development, but the developer wants it so that basically it'll be more intentional about the dead ends generating on levels, and to better balance the risk involved with them. Another issue that is being worked on is of open areas, basically hallways that are 2x2 tiles wide or bigger. Basically what the developer is talking about with the open areas is that when a level is generated, the game scans it for open areas. And I'm just reading off of the page right now. Open areas are any parts of a level that have a 2x2 or larger group of cells connected to each other, or tiles, whichever you want to call them. Rooms are mainly where open areas are found. In order for NPCs to be able to navigate these spaces and avoid colliding with objects in them, the game generates a nav mesh and other data which makes this possible. The current issue is that in previous versions, this data is only generated once when the level is first generated. If the level layout changes to change the shape of an open area, like putting in multiple portal posters next to each other, none of that open area is updated. Well, none of the info in that area is updated rather. The developer is reworking the system to make it possible to update the info as the level layout changes, and to optimize it so that this can be done with very little performance impact. Now, the developer has said that this change is proving to be a bit challenging, but he's made some good progress and he's confident that he'll be finished with this soon. Perhaps not in time for 0.8, but it is high on the developer's priority list for now. One more thing that's being improved with the level generation system is the way structures like swinging doors, conveyor belts, and roto halls are generated and loaded so that the developer can more easily prepare for new structures to be added. Right now, the plan is to get some more new structures in the game for 0.8 to basically update the level generation system in a more visible way rather than just in a background way. And it's also just been a while since we've had any new structures appear in the game. Besides the banana trees and the diet soda machines. And that is all there is to expect for 0.8. So just to recap what's going to be in 0.8, there's going to be an option to adjust your playstyle for the game. Basically, the way lives work, normal, where you start with 3 and you regain all 3 lives at the start of each level. Arcade, where you start with 3 lives and you can't gain any more throughout the game. And strict, where you have 1 life and you can't gain any more after that. There will also be time limits where you have to get all of the notebooks and then get to all of the elevators before time runs out. And if time does run out, then, well, the game gets harder. And the level generator will also be updated so that there are less dead ends, less bottlenecks, and potentially some new structures, assuming the developer gets all of the level generator related stuff done before 0.8 releases. And of course 0.8 is being delayed until early December. When 0.8 releases, the developer will be taking December off to relax and enjoy the holidays. And then at the end of December, or once December finishes, the developer will start working on the game again, fixing up bugs for 0.9. And that is everything to expect from 0.8. Hopefully I explained all of that rather well. I'm kind of debating whether or not I did a good job of explaining because I am really, really tired this morning. But I just wanted to get it out of the way so I can do some more stuff later on today. But anyways, that is all to expect from that is all the stuff you can expect from 0.8. And until 0.8 releases, see ya.